And dear colleagues, we are happy to be welcoming you at the webinar for the participants of the Open International Competition for the Development of the Master Plan of the city of Grozny, Chechen Republic. I would like to give the floor to Anton Finagen, Director for Urban Environment Development of Joint Stock Company DomRef. Anton Vladimirovich, the floor is yours. Yes, hello, dear colleagues. I would probably immediately start by stating that the symbiosis of both very active region, which is both economically as well as investment strategy-wise region, Chechen Republic, as well as the main state corporation of the Russian Federation for Urban Environment Development. I believe that the symbiosis is meant to be successful. Thus, all participants can feel confident that they are taking part in the contest, which is not about creating a short-term media noise, then tabling documents somewhere. But the task of the contest is to get us to a project which will help join to a project which would assure upcoming very ambitious urban transformation projects in the coming years. Master plan is just the first step, which is signed and approved in our bilateral agreement of cooperation with the Republic. There are the following steps that have been mentioned: the general plan, land use, planning projects per specific land plots, then topography works, and there is funding allocated for those steps already, which altogether guarantees that in the coming year and a half, the master plan will be taken to the readiness stage for the implementation of very specific investment projects in mind. I believe this is a strong competitive advantage, distinguishing this contest from others taking place not just around Russia, but in other countries as well. By the beginning of 2025, we are to reach the implementation stage of the specific urban development project in the city of Grozny based on the solutions to be identified in the master plan. What is particularly important, the master plan, it already has a number of projects that are already being implemented that have some potential partners. But in this case, designers also have a chance for to provide their proposals as well. It's important to know that this project is not just for to initiate work, but this is something which is a framework where we are expecting for your both ideas and project initiatives, because when I'm talking about 2025, I'm talking about the initiation of implementation of urban development projects that would turn into the implementation of ideas backed by proper development documentation in place. I believe this is the very best possible promotion of this contest and this initiative, demonstrating that this is a project supported by both economic and investment opportunities of the Republic. DomRF corporation of ours. That's, I believe, another important reason for participating in this project. Thus, we would be looking forward for your ideas. We would be looking forward for consortia that would be bringing together experts with a high level of expertise in development, in investment, in urban development, in architectural investment development. Obviously, we would like to see multi-profile teams to be taking part in this contest because these are indeed the teams that would be able to provide the proper solutions. Thank you very much for your attention, and the attention of Domorev Corporation to your projects would be very high. Thank you very much, Anton Vladimirovich. We are moving on to giving the floor to Shamil Adayev, the Premier of Grozny. Thank you very much, dear participants, guests. It's a great pleasure to be welcoming you at the webinar dedicated to the Open International Competition for the development of a master plan of the Grozny city, Chechen Republic. It's both opportunity to demonstrate opportunities, the leadership of the city as well as the Republic is interested in demonstrating its opportunities. Additional step in the same dimension is this open international contest master plan would support the development of the proper spatio development strategy of the city of Grozny to achieve important steps. And before we start the webinar, I would like to thank the participants and the especially organizers for keeping in mind the significance of the event, and may I wish the participants of the contest to make their best to leave the mark in the successful development of the future of the Republic. Thank you very much. We are grateful, and the next we are moving to Muslim Garbekov, the chairman of the State Committee on Architecture and City Planning of the Chechen Republic. Muslim Ramzanovich, we would very much request you to speak about the specifics of the territory and the development of architecture in the Republic today. Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be welcoming all of you dear participants of the event. Microphones turn off. Could you please? Yes, we now do. I'm very happy to be welcoming all the participants of the event. I'm very, very happy to be witnessing this contest, which is a long-awaited dream of the Republic. We are thankful to Anton Vladimirovich Vinogenov, Sergei Yu, and all others for making this happen. Anton Vladimirovich, thanks to the experience in the area, he is putting it on, setting it the framework properly. Talking about the Republic, Chechen Republic is relatively well known both within the country and outside of the country. But I guess I would like to touch on the context just in case. After the tragic events in the history of Chechen Republic, the Republic continued the path of creation and development set by the first president of Chechen Republic, Ahmad Haji Kadyrov, followed by the the son of his, Ramzan Ahmatovich Kadyrov. Over the recent years, significant development has been taking place. The number of settlements having the city status have increased 2.5 times. It was not just legal transformation, but also infrastructure or development, the elements complementing it. We used to have 3 cities, now we have 7 cities in the Republic. Plus, in the Chechen Republic, we have developed agglomerations scheme of the Republic. Out of 1.5 million of the population of the Republic, it covers 1.3 million, covers 70% of the territory of Chechen Republic, with the center in the city of Grozny, which is very much related to the geography we are in. We are in 1 hour accessibility from the downtown of Grozny to boundaries of Chechen Republic all around. It's also important to note that important attention is being given to the recreation of Galanchevsky district of Chechen Republic, which covers some 20% of Chechen Republic's territory. And importantly, this territory was untouched for the development since 1944, when the population was deported, even despite rehabilitation. Until recently, this territory was closed for forbidden for development. Thus, until today, we have that space preserving the cultural heritage of Chechen people. In the process of the development of this master plan, we would like to see you participants to take steps that would give the Grozny necessary comfort. It's particularly important, keeping in mind that it is meant to assure proper environment, both for generation of new ideas and the quality of life. Thus, we do hope that this contest would assure us ending up with the master plans integrating best international practices. As Anton Vladimirovich Finagenov has rightly said before, that all the things that would be adopted and approved as a result of this contest would go into implementation. We would make everything possible for this to materialize. Thus, the participants of this contest should have no doubts in generating and proposing their ideas, which would be very ambitiously implemented in Czech Republic. Thus, thank you very much to all participants. May I wish all the best. Thank you very much, Mr. Ramzanovich. And right now we are moving on to Mr. Alikhan Takshayev, Chief Architect of the city of Grozny, who will tell us a few words and characterize the contest site. Dear colleagues, friends, colleagues, do you hear me? We hear you very well, Mr. Takshayev.
Заранее прошу прощения. В настоящее время я нахожусь в столице нашей родины, город Москва.
Me, I would request you to excuse myself. The city of Grozny, the capital of the Republic, is the city of military glory. It was established in the beginning of the 19th century as the fortress of Grozny, later losing the military significance, but playing important economic role. The city is 204 years old today. Even though it's young, it lived through a lot of tests, and in line with the United Nations data per 2003, Grozny was in the status of the most destroyed city post-World War II. Despite this, Grozny found the
Грозный был в статусе самого разрушенного города после Великой Второй мировой войны. Но несмотря на это,
strength
Грозный
to
нашел в себе
revive
силы
as
восстановиться
the
и
phoenix
возглавить
from
строительство
ashes,
и
and turned
взял упорному
into
главу
the
во главе нашего
dynamically
региона
developing city thanks to the leadership
город
of
развивается,
the
динамично развивается,
region of the
активно
republic,
развивается и
transforming
преображается.
actively.
На
The
сегодня в настоящее время территория
territory
города
of the city is
составляет
360
около
square kilometers, broken down
360
into 4
километров квадратных
districts,
территории. Город разбит
22
на 4 района,
territorial
25
districts.
округа.
The city is actively
Город
developing,
активно
being
развивается,
built,
строится.
significant achievements in
Город
communal
сегодня достиг больших
infrastructure,
преображений в области
amenities,
коммунальных
construction. A lot is
благоустройства,
done to assure
строительства,
comfortable urban
многоэтажных домов в
environment.
области комфортной городской среды.
Grozny
Грозный
has a great
сегодня
many
много
important
уникальных объектов,
elements.
значимых объектов, которые сегодня являются точками притяжения граждан.
We are having
Комплекс
a
Грозный
complex of
Сити
Grozny
заложен
City. Ahmad
фундамент
Tower
Ахмат Тауэр.
Foundation
Это
is
башня, которая будет
set.
символизировать
We have also
боевые участки
initiated the
войны.
work on the
Также начата
construction of
работа
international airport.
международного аэропорта. В Грозном
A
проходит
number
один
of
из
large stadiums. Akhmat Arena, the largest in North
стадионов Ахмат
Caucasus. A
Арена
lot
вообще
is
в
done
Азии.
for the comfortable
Много сделано
city
по комфортной
environment.
городской среде.
At the moment, we are
Сейчас
seeing
Грозный
about
находится
140 investment
около 140
projects
инвестиционных
implemented in the
проектов
housing district,
в жилищной
in the
сфере.
housing area. When the city
Грозный,
was living
когда
through
восстановление
active
города было
recreation
в
revival,
целом
at the earlier
становление, то
stages,
город
it was
восстанавливался
being
гибридно на базе старого
developed
советского геймплана.
as is
Но
based on the
исходя из этого
Soviet
геймплана при
Union
восстановлении и развитии
standards
необходимо
on
было
the
принять определенные
sides of
правила геймплана.
the
В
locations. We
2017 году эти
understand
документы
that
были утверждены,
the
но с течением
even
времени
though the
мы знаем, что
proper
город преображается,
development
меняется и по нормативным
documentation was
документам,
approved,
кадастровым кодексам,
over the years,
применение
respective
правильных
changes were
документов.
taking
В связи с
place.
этим
Thus, the general plan, the
генеральный
land
план
use
правила
rules,
геймплана
etc., were
локально вносились
having
изменения.
additional
В
changes.
прошлом году
Last year,
было
a
принято
decision
решение
was made to
вносить
introduce
изменения в генеральный
proper
план
changes
ОСЗ
once again
для
into the general
пойти
plan and the
уникальная
land use
возможность
rules.
разработать
But
кадастровый
thanks to
план
Domarev, thanks to Mr.
ипотечный дом
Finagenov, and
Валентина Владимировича
as
Домарев,
well as, of
который и
course,
при
the
сопровождении
center agency
центра.
has offered
Вам
us a
тоже огромное
chance
спасибо.
to
Мы эту
organize a
работу
master
продолжим до
plan
конца, потому что
contest,
после
which
разработки
would
мастер плана
assure
утверждения мы будем
the
идти по пути, который мастер
proper
план нам покажет.
context
Надеемся, что
setting for
в этом
our
плане мастер
proper
план нам даст новую
planning
дорогу, новую для
documentation approval.
развития.
In that sense, it
Сегодня,
would set, I guess,
если
the
допустим
rails into a
спросить,
better,
есть
more
ли какие-то
reliable
градостроительные
future.
конфликты в
So
городе,
we postponed
то
that. If
скорее они есть
someone would
несколько, по
ask
моему
us
мнению,
now
чалленджи
whether
заключается. Допустим, у нас
there are
современные девелоперы, да,
some
так или
challenges,
иначе
I would say
достраивают наш
yes,
город,
because
не
all
все
the
пытаются
developers
строить
we
в
are seeing are mainly trying to
центральной
build
части города,
downtown along the
в
main
основных магистралях.
highways.
Некоторые
Some
же
of the
территории у нас
areas
заняты
are very
так называемым
much
жилищным строительством. В
uh,
этом случае возникает ситуация, когда
low-rise
правила
development
кодекса
areas,
федеральным
and
планом, они у нас отражены как
in that
зона
sense, we
общественного
are
права,
seeing some
но
conflict
никак не
between
учитывается изменение
documentation,
жилищного сектора.
expecting this
Соответственно,
territory would be
возникает
developed
диалог
as
между
a
администрацией
business
города
or
Жмеры,
high-rise, etc.
девелопером
And
и
in the
собственниками жилья.
reality, we are having respective
Всегда
districts
возможны несколько
being
разрывы городских зданий,
used for
реально на
private
каких-то
housing development. And
зеленых
in that
каркасах.
sense, there
И
are
мы в рамках
challenges
мастер-плана
on
для
different
развития
levels.
определили
as well as the green belt issue is not implemented today, which is why to address all this set of challenges, we have identified 6 plots where we need to focus for addressing all the elements. And in that sense, for example, crossing of Nazarbayev and Kopernikov highways, the total territory of over 200 hectares, the city mayor's office is developing a conception. In that sense, that territory is also included into the master plan. It's quite possible that us keeping on working with the city for many years, maybe there are some things which are not just getting attention of ours. And in that sense, we would be very happy if the international participants from other regions of Russia would demonstrate to us some things, would open our eyes on some things that we don't yet see, opportunities that would really be attractive, and demonstrate to us how these things can and should be implemented so that they could happen both economically, spatially, keeping in mind all the trends, technological, political, development of all the, I don't know, pedestrian areas, maybe transformation of the urban environment, its appearance, etc. In this sense, I would like to wish all participants of the contest to use their experience of master planning, general planning, zoning, etc., apply this knowledge to open up their own potential as well as the potential of the city of Grozny. I wish you all the best. Slides. Let me remind that the contest is initiated by the Mayor's Office of Grozny, supported by the Government of Chechen Republic and Dom.RF joint stock company, and the Agency for Strategic Development Center is an operator. The objective of our contest is the development of the master plan for the city of Grozny of Chechen Republic. The object is the city district. The participants are the professional organizations in the field of integrated development of territories and urban planning, as well as architecture and design. And it's important that you are able to attract specialists in the field of economics, finance, content programming into your teams. Entities can participate both individually as well as part of a consortium. And as recommended, that consortium has both Russian and foreign or international partners. Let us draw your attention that the operator central agency is ready to provide you with the necessary support of shaping your consortium. If you're a foreign company and looking for a partner in Russia, we would be very happy to provide you with a list of respective potential partners, as well as help in bridging your contacts. If you're a Russian company looking for a foreign partner, please contact us as well. Applications from international partners are also being accumulated at the operator level. We'd be happy to connect Russian foreign participants for creating consortia if you need such help. Operator would be ready to provide all the necessary help, as well as all of the infrastructure for you to find each other, find the company or companies you would like to bring your efforts together. We have necessary infrastructure in place. If you need this, please send us your application through the official contact information on our website or call us. Its hotline is working both Russian and English. Now, project schedule of ours is allowing you to plan your working processes, be it on the first stage of the contest or the second one. Please know that the first jury Meeting will be taking place on the 30th, 31st of May. That would be both jury and expert council session for the selection of finalists. For the jury to be able to consider your application, it's important that you file it timely, which is until the 19th of May. Next, should you go through the first stage of the contest, you'll be able to take part in the implementation or the setting seminar, which will be taking place in the city of Grozny itself. The organizing committee would assure your both travel to Russia, visit to Grozny, visiting all the sites and key development nodes of the city. In the second stage, you will have the same procedure. Your contest proposals will be brought to the attention both of expert council as well as jury. You are now seeing when they would be taking place on screen. It's expected that your defense of your projects will be taking place in person once again, and we would once again assure all everything for you to be able to travel to Grozny, to be able to present your projects in person, responding to questions of both Russian and international experts. Once again, please know that the winner has some time frame for further improvement of their project, to bring in all the respond to comments of the jury and the expert. Please note that we are pre-stage. The selection is based on your portfolio as well as essays. On the second stage, it will be the development of competition proposals by the finalists. The total prize fund of the contest is 20 million rubles. Please note that the payments are done in two stages. At first and at the end of the second stage of the contest, and the second payment is dependent on the place your team gets as a result of in-person presentation. Contest jury includes both international, federal, as well as local experts. Please note the chairman of the jury is the head of the Chechen Republic, Ramzan Kadyrov. Deputy chairman of the jury is the mayor of the city of Grozny, and the jury composition you see is having both Russian and international experts that would be giving complex assessment of the work. Composition is dependent on the aspects that are reflected in the set of requirements, and the respective requirements are covered by the expertise of the jury members. And we're also having an expert council headed by Mr. Musa Tatuyev, the deputy mayor of city of Grozny, which also includes both Russian international experts. And this allows us to objectivize the result, have two levels of expertise, and provide maximum level of detailed opinions and comments on the projects, which would assure that we get the final judgments to be very properly justified. The composition of the application of yours consists of four elements: the application itself, filed on the official website of the competition, located at masterplan-grozny.ru. The application is filed electronically on top of the data on the organization consortium. You have a portfolio segment as well. Here, you should reflect 5 projects in the urban planning, architecture, socioeconomic development. Please note that if you are a consortium, your portfolio is made out of projects that all members of your consortium have taken part in line with your choice. The outcome should be 5 projects that best demonstrate your competencies, experience, and knowledge. Third element here is an essay, which should contain a description of the key ideas and approaches to creating a master plan for the Grozny city. something that you would be demonstrating the methods, the ideas, the standards and principles, everything that you would like to put into this work of yours. And the fourth block, let's call it, would be additional visuals, schemes, visuals, and other materials at your discretion that would illustrate the approaches reflected in your essay. Now, to dive into the context of the territory, I would now be giving the floor to Ms. Polina Neustroeva, the head of the analytical department of Center. Hello, dear colleagues. The strategic priorities and main socioeconomic and urban planning development of the city is dependent on the development of the social and business potential, as well as seeing the city of Grozny as a single territory of business activities, proper activity within the region, bridges with the countries of the Middle East. The strategic vision is the center of the world, heart of the Caucasus, the center for innovative development, trade and tourism, logistics, and Chechen Republic has a strategic location in North Caucasus region, Grozny being the administrative center of the Republic, the largest settlement, and the fifth one in the federal district, concentrating over 50% of the population Chechen Republic. It's a moderate continental climate, long, hot summer, and a short and mild winter. The Grozny is the node, the central elements of Grozny agglomeration. Proper transportation location of Grozny is characterized by the fact that it is both a part of the railroad network that allows the connectivity between the regions of the area. These settlements are mainly located either along the railway link east to west or along the highways. Unique natural landscape, paysages, cultural heritage, as well as unique low and high-rise developments are important components of Grozny landscape, setting the context for future development. The city of Grozny consists of 4 planning districts. In the 20th century, the largest scientific and industrial center of North Caucasus. In the year 2003, it was recognized to be the most destroyed city on Earth since the Second World War by United Nations commissions in 2003, and by 2009, the city has received an honorary diploma of UN Habitat program in the nomination post-conflict reconstruction. The city of Grozny accounts for over 1/5 of the total population, almost 60% of urban population. Main economic sectors are trade and construction. The task for achieving the image of the future economic development through the formation and support of competitive sectors of the economy, then social development in order to assure the harmonious development of society by creating conditions for high level and quality of life of the population. Infrastructural development, number 3, for creating conditions for the effective development of the economy and ensuring the effective functioning of mechanisms for stimulating the development of the territory and their complex impact. I would next give the floor to a colleague of mine, Olga Evgeny, the head of analytical department. Hello, dear colleagues. We would now present you with the composition of the competition proposal of yours, so that you would be able to create a well-balanced consortium of yours in order to respond all the elements of the required tasks for you to be able to assess the amount of work you'll have to implement. The enhanced composition is as follows for a determination of priorities and tasks of socioeconomic and spatial development that ensure the implementation of the mission and the achievement of the image of the future. Second component is the scenario for the integrated development of the Grozny City District, which includes both a socioeconomic development dimension as well as how the spatial development respond there too, in order to have the proper conditions for the implementation of the priorities of socioeconomic development that you would feel be important for the implementation of the mission of Grozny that Polina was talking about, something that was described in the strategic documents of Chechen Republic as well as the city of Grozny, assessed also being assessed by the research that is being done by central agency that would be presented to you in the May of 2023. Third element is the concept of spatial development of the Grozny City District for the period up to 2035. It's important to note that Grozny is strategically positioned by the documents of both the Republic as well as the city as economically sustainable and technologically progressive city. Thus, there is a small but important block, which is proposals for the creation of technological and socioeconomic prerequisites for the formation of a high-tech environment. It would be described in detail in the enhanced composition of the technical requirements, but it's something that's very important and it would require your attention. Fifth element is the financial and economic justification for the implementation of the proposed integrated development scenario. It should prove that the scenario is implementable for within the period for which we are developing the master plan, which is up to 2035. And the last and quite challenging and important block is detailed proposals for the priority areas of the urban district development. Keeping in mind that the contest site is quite challenging, the city district, it would have to be worked on a number of at a number of scales. First is the city scale, the priorities of spatial development that would be assuring the implementation of the mission and the achievement of the image of the future, formation of proposals for the functional planning, organization of the city area, creation of a design functional zoning scheme, and selection of the priority development territories. We are working on the city at the scale of 1 to 20,000, and into the albums of your the cartography information can be packed, but without losing the graduality. The next block is also developed for whole of the city in the same segment. All the elements are also developed for whole of the city, but at a different level of details. After you have worked on the on all of them, you can select number of the areas, the key areas, and work in more detail of those. Obviously, some of these are reflected in the documents in place, and you have to take a look. You can take a look at that, but it should not limit you from the point of view of more detailed work into the industrial components. And the last block is related to the prioritization of key projects. you would have to
И
create to
последний блок —
prioritize a
это
list
блок
of at
реализации
least 20
ключевых
key
проектов,
projects, rate
включенных в
them
расширенный
by the
список. Вы должны
importance and the
сформировать
effect social and urban development
список
effect
приоритетных
that will be
проектов,
achieved
порядка
when
20
through
ключевых
at the
проектов,
implementation, and
отранжировать их по
work on them
важности,
in
по
more
эффекту
detail.
социально-экономическому и
More
градостроительному,
detailed work
который
would
достигнется
be
при ее
at
реализации, и
1
затем
to
проработать их более
2000
детально.
and is provided
Более детальная
back
проработка
at a lower
проводится в
scale, but
масштабе
without the loss
2000,
of the
2000, а потом
detail.
впоследствии
Now,
предоставляется
the
опять же все
priority
улучшение, но
projects
без
that
потери
should
детализации.
that require detailed work should be about 10,
Что
but
вошло
6 are a must,
в
and these are
приоритетные проекты,
identified by
которые
the
требуют
city's
детальной
priority
проработки?
ones that
Их
should
должно
be
быть порядка
worked
10,
on by your
но из них
teams in
уже 6
detail.
являются
The list
обязательными. То есть это те проекты,
of these
которые город для
projects includes
себя
three territories
определил
downtown.
как приоритетные
One is
и
a
которые должны быть проработаны
multifunctional
детально.
use
В перечень
territory,
этих
then the
обязательных проектов
territory of public
вошли
spaces in
3
the
территории в центре
downtown,
города. Это
functioning
территория
quite effectively now, but requires
многофункционального
rethinking
центра,
simply because
это территория
time is
общественных пространств
setting
в
new
центре,
expectations
которые в
towards the
настоящий
use of
момент
public spaces, especially
эффективно
downtown, which
функционируют,
is
однако требуют
serving as a
переосмысления,
visiting card
так как
of Grozny, and
время
not just
диктует
within
новые
Russian
требования к
Federation, but
организации
internationally.
общественных пространств, тем более в
Third
центре
territory
города, который
is an
является визитной карточкой города
residential
уже сейчас, не
district
только в пределах Российской
area
Федерации, но и в
not far
пределах
from
всего
the
мира.
downtown.
И
No,
третья
this
территория — это
detailed elaboration
концепция жилого района, который также недалеко
list of
находится
sites
в центральной
includes
части города.
also a territory of
Детальной
in the
проработке,
northwest
в перечень
of the
проектов детальной проработки
Vysaitovsky
также
district.
вошла территория в Исаитовском районе. Это территория индивидуальной жилой
It's
застройки, и для города
important
Грозного
that
это
we
актуальная задача,
develop proper solutions
поскольку
so that we
значительная часть
have a
территории города
quality
представлена именно индивидуальной
environment
жилой
for
застройкой,
work
и необходимо выработать решения для
and
того, чтобы
life.
и в пределах индивидуальной
That
жилой
would be a
застройки
same attractive
создавалась
composition
качественная среда для жизни,
of
не
conditions
уступающая по своему
as
уровню
in
по
high-rise
сравнению с районами
districts. In this sense, the
многоквартирной
task is
застройки.
that the
И
proposals that you would
цель
offer for
такой
this
детальной
district
проработки
should be
именно на
scalable
территории
both
индивидуальной
within
жилой
the
застройки заключается еще и в том, чтобы решения, которые вы предложите
the city
применительно к
district
этому
of
району,
Grozny,
могли
as
быть
well as
масштабированы
in other
как в пределах городского
areas
округа, так и, возможно,
around
в
Chechen
других
Republic.
городах
Another important
Чеченской
territory is
Республики.
the territory of
Как
Grozny
пример
Sea.
создания качественной среды
It
для
has
такого рода
a
застройки.
natural and recreational
Еще одна
area
важная
around
территория —
it,
это территория
and
Грозненского
this
моря.
requires
Вокруг нее
some
уже в настоящий момент сложилась
work on.
рекреационная территория.
Another territory
Тем не
that is
менее,
included
требуется
is another
ее дальнейшее
territory
развитие,
along the
и
axis
поэтому
of the
это тоже
highway
включено в состав
Grozny-Argun
территории
of
детальной
Akhmatovsky
проработки.
district.
Еще одна территория — это территория перспективного развития вдоль основной оси развития города, которая идет с юго-востока на северо-запад. Это концепция развития территории по оси трассы
Uh,
Грозный-Аргун в Ахматовском районе.
the requirements for the content of the master plan proposals have the lists of
Помимо
points
технического детализированного
per
технического задания
various types, the
прописаны
scale of
подробно
work,
состав конкурсного
the types of
предложения со схемами,
materials that
которые должны
should
быть получены по каждому
complement them, as
из
well as
пунктов
the
с
set of
масштабами
technical
проработки,
requirements also
с
have the
другими видами
elements
материалов,
that
которые должны их сопровождать.
we present
И
in or
помимо
the
этого в
following
техническом
groups.
задании
One is
еще
scenario
содержатся
for the
обязательные
integration, the
требования,
development of the urban
которые
district,
нами
including creating
сгруппированы
conditions for
по
structural
таким крупным
restructuring of the
блокам.
economy. Does
Требования,
it
например, к
mean
сценарию
that
приветствия в развитии
everything
городского
here
округа, в том числе
be
созданию условий для структурной
should be
перестройки
applied
экономики?
only to the
Значит ли это, что
economics?
эти требования
No.
должны применяться
It
только для
means that
блока,
whenever
который
you are
описывает
looking
сценарий
at
или
your
экономику? Нет, это значит,
transportation,
что
urban
в каждом из
development, or
своих
whatever
разделов вы должны все
other
время возвращаться к этим требованиям и
aspects of
смотреть,
your
каким
work,
образом
how are
ваше
they
решение
reflecting on the
градостроительное,
total development? The same
транспортное,
applies to
строительное и так
block
далее
number two,
будет
improving the quality of life to
в
world
совокупности
standards.
влиять на
It
сценарий
doesn't mean
будущего
that you
развития.
should
То же
give an
самое
example or
касается
two
других
of
блоков. Это повышение
proper
качества среды до мировых стандартов. Это не значит, что
of
вы,
the way you
сказать,
would be
один пример,
having some urban
там два
spaces,
примера устройства
territory,
общественных
etc.
пространств
No, you
и
should keep this in mind, how respective solution of yours would be affecting the quality of other solutions all around the city. Please also note here that the city of Grozny is ambitious. It doesn't want its quality of life to be raised to the best examples of those available around Russia, but it wants to get to the best examples of the global standards. Now, third block, improving the efficiency of spatial development. These requirements are there in the technical requirements for the applications. Please pay attention to them, because the assessment would not only be based on how you responded to the points, how you covered all the 6 assessment elements, but also the content thereof. Number 4, creation of technological and socio-economic prerequisites for the formation of a digitalized environment. We have touched on this, but let's once again understand that, yes, master plan would not respond to a respective dimension, but the master plan should set proper directions to assure that the respective solutions would be implemented and how they would be implemented. Now, how are you filing your competition proposals? It's 4 elements: album, tablets, presentation, and video with 3D modeling elements. Let us draw your attention that the album and the presentation looks like one and the same thing, only at first. Look, album should be shaped in line with the the structure of the album should be copying the structure of the technical requirements. Whilst the presentation is more your team oriented, which helps you properly to demonstrate the logic of your project. It can have different structuring, it can have a different logic, but it's important that it reflects all the blocks, elements that are in line with the technical requirements. In case number 1, album is not matching the technical requirements, we would have to send comments to the applicants that both albums are structured in a way that our technical requirements are organized. So in that sense, don't lose your time, start shaping album in line with what we request from you. Now, the jury would be contest criteria. The jury will be evaluating competition proposals in accordance with the following criteria: compliance with the requirements of terms of reference, optimality of the proposed scenario for the spatial development of the Grozny city district, validity of the projects in the field of social and economic spatial development of the Grozny city district, ensuring achievement of maximum economic, social, and budgetary efficiency of the proposed development scenario, ensuring the formation of any quality environment of the territory of Grozny city, as well as effective use of smart city tools to create an equality environment of the territory of Grozny city district. These are demonstrated here for you to understand how you would be assessed. Now, we are moving back to Polina Konstantinovna Neustroeva. Dear colleagues, We looked at the examples from international experience, global practices with the relevant cases that could be useful for you for the development of the master plan. The projects for the strategic organization of the cities. Here we have selected the following three cases: Budapest 2030, Access for Development Plan, Preliminary SWOT Analysis, Roadmap of 17 major projects, reintegration of Danube River into the urban spaces system in Budapest, redevelopment of brownfield territories, construction of a new residential area. We looked at Dubai 2040 UAE. Here, its ideal model of the city will focus on meeting the needs of the residents, ensuring highest standard of living, 20-minute city concept, integration of smart transport, additional improvements of amenities, number of areas, a development of exhibition center, and creation of Dubai analog of Silicon Valley. And Sofia master plan from Bulgaria is a refinement of any master plan based on the previous version, maintaining strategic continuity in terms of the adopted decisions, accounting for different points of view, the presence of representatives of academic environment in the team, and the separate place allocated to environmental planning, the involvement of analysts from the Green Life Sofia Idea Factory. We also looked at the transformation of separate areas project. One was the Belgrade waterfront in Serbia, where its orientation to the commercial use of the territory, creating the largest shopping center in the southeastern Europe, restoration of historical buildings, the so-called Belgrade Cooperative, and creation of a new living space for 14,000 residents. Another example was Korče Urban Center from Albania, which is a redevelopment of the historical center with a division into 5 semantic zones, creation of unique functional content for each zone of the city center, variety of public spaces, redesign of the building of the City Hall, National Museum of Medieval Art, and Kajupi Theater, development of the exhibition center. Another example was from Doha in Qatar. That was the development of a new concept for the central area of the state capital in connection with the new condition caused by urbanization. In separate areas, a pearl of urban space, a starting point of large-scale urban development, and application of advanced solutions in the areas of architecture, energy efficiency, and green buildings. Well, clearly, smart cities examples were here. The proper tool, integration of smart technologies in the urban environment. Examples here from Finland's Smart Tampere, one of the oldest examples of implementation of the idea of the smart city with an active renewal program in the new decade, three-pronged development program, development of the urban entrepreneurial ecosystem, digitalization of urban services, sustainable Tampere, organization of annual lecture, exhibit, Smart City Week. Another example from South Korea, New Songdo, create an ideal entrepreneurial environment based on Songdo International Business District. Unique ecosystem is landscaping 40% of the urban areas, using of renewable natural resources such as air turbines and sea water, and an innovative system for organizing urban infrastructure and supply network. And the Chinese example, Yanzhou Future Science and Technology City, alternative to the traditional master plan creation of the new car-free city division of the project territory into 6 clusters, development of alternative transportation systems, rapid transit outside of built-in areas, and creation of the international education educational park, potentially one of the leading educational centers in the People's Republic of China. When developing the master plans, contestants can feel free to use their own reference examples and can use as well the ones that we have selected. That would be it for my part. Dear colleagues, you are now seeing the official website of the contest, working both in Russian and English, providing all necessary information. Please use this website as a platform for your work. You will need to register yourself there. You are filing an application there. You are getting your proper environment there. Once you register, all of the infrastructure, electronic and bilingual, would be accessible to you. In that sense, master plan -grozny.ru is the main element. For interaction, we have also created an email, info@masterplan-grozny.ru. Feel free to use it to send questions to the organizational committee. It's a one single window, single communication channel, irrespective of whether you are sending your question to the operator, to be it to the state agency Dom RF or the government of the republic, the mayors, the city administration of Grozny or whatever. Please use this email for any communication in both Russian and English. And we are also having a hotline telephone number +7495 123 4553, which opens the consultation verbally in both Russian and English. Feel free to use this hotline to connect with us. And when you are calling, voice menu allows you to immediately choose both Russian or English. Please use this option as well. If you would like to contact us, we will be happy to respond to you both through email or through a telephone number you see on your screen. And please remember that applications deadline is the 19th of May until 1200 hours Moscow time zone. Please remember this. Now that welcoming addresses, detailed context is set, we can now move to Q&A. Please keep in mind that you can send your questions into the chat, and we would be responding them. And I see that first questions are there, and we can move to them, dear colleagues. The first question from the chat is the number of visualizations that we would need that would have to be provided. Please comment. Please comment. You will need a total of 13 visualizations, 5 of public spaces, no less than 5 of the key projects, as well as no less than 3 visualizations, 3D models of the massing reflecting the contest proposals. Next question. Do we need to work on the total of 10 sites in detail or just 6? No, the total of 10, but 6 are already identified and offered by the city and the republic. And 4 others would be identified by yourself based on the strategy that you would be implementing with your project. So in that sense, total of 10 would have to be covered, 6 identified, 4 more would be covered by you. Next question. The technical requirement, would that be only available to the finalists? Can we look at that at this stage? Look, you can go to masterplan-grozny.ru and you can download an invitation to participation document there. That document is the essence of the context as well as the data necessary for the participation. In this sense, it is available in Russian in the Russian version of the website and in English at the English version of the website. A more detailed, large analytical study is a basis for your work, as well as a detailed technical requirement would be issued to the finalists at the second stage that would be selected by the jury into the second stage. In that sense, let me remind that you can be writing your questions into the chat. We would be happy to read them up. Next question is about the scale of information that would be given at the second stage. Let me give you additional data. At the second stage, you would get all the necessary additional data on the city, a detailed technical requirements that would help you to understand how that would be assessed in line with what criteria indicators, but most importantly, you would get access to the total of some 400 pages of research outcome, which is practically integrated encyclopedia on the experience and the almost history of everything in the city district, assessing all the trends and various factors that would give you a complex basis for work at the second stage, at the very beginning thereof, which would would minimize the amount of time that you would have to spend and on getting the maximum information available on the city district of Grozny. Next question, would there be any opportunity for the finalists to come to the city of Grozny for a guided tour? Of course, dear colleagues, the finalists that would be selected for stage 2, the ones that will be developing the contest proposal, would have a chance to spend a few days of the in-person seminar in the city of Grozny itself. In the course of this area, we would assure you would get the visits to respective land plots, meetings with experts, meeting with residents. You'll be able to walk the necessary. The contest operator would provide you with all the logistic and infrastructural support to make sure that you would be able to get to know everything, meet everybody. And here we would give you the chance to visit Grozny twice. First, at the organizing a seminar, and second time when presenting, but at the end. But on top of these visits, you will have an online visual interaction through Zoom, just like today. You'll be able to ask questions and get answers from all the participants of the process, be it from expert council or jury members, as well as the client, ordering the contest, as well as the operator, which is Center Agency. Let me remind that you can keep on adding your other questions into the Zoom chat. Next question is about the size for the winning of the prize for the winning team, and what would be the implementation of this at next stages. I would request a slide with the prize fund and would remind that information is available in both Russian and English, and I would request my colleagues to broadcast once again the presentation in Russian and English so that everybody would be able to download the presentation in both Russian and English from chat as well. Please note that on top of the prize fund, on top of the sums that are foreseen by the contest themselves, you would also get the right for taking part in the implementation of the strategy offered by the selected winner. Should there be any other questions, we are waiting for them in the Zoomcast chat.
Пожалуйста, если есть еще вопросы, мы ждем их в чате трансляции.
If there are some questions, comments, or clarifications, anything important, please place your question in the broadcast chat and we would air it, and all kind of support that you feel necessary, you can expect it. Everything is transparent here. Second question: support in company selection for consortium, is that done before filing application or after? Of course it's before, because we would be looking at the consortium composition, assessing the size and qualifications of the total consortium team, professional strength. In that sense, it's important that you get to selection of your partners before you filing, and when filing an application, you describe the composition of your consortium that would allow us to assess your consortium strength. Please do not delay this process. We would be happy to provide you with all necessary support, connecting foreign companies with Russian partners, to set proper consortiums, to file applications for the contest until the deadline on the 19th of May. Dear colleagues, let me remind you once again that you can pose your questions in the Zoomcast chat. We are having representatives of the operator as well as representatives of the government of Chechen Republic, the representative of the city administration of Grozny, the representatives of our strategic partner, which is joint stock company Dom.rf. Any questions, we would be happy to respond or comment in any way possible so that you can file your application in the best possible way. In that sense, we keep on looking for your questions in the broadcast, in this Zoomcast chat. We'll be very happy to provide all necessary help to make sure that you would take part in this competition in the comfortable and professional way. Should you not have questions at the moment and feel that you have something else to find out and clarify, feel free to either email us or call our hotline. The contest operator would be very happy to organize interaction, create necessary infrastructure, connect you with partners, or provide you with unnecessary consultations. In that sense, please feel free to use the opportunity. You better ask more questions or ask for more help than not to contact at all. Each and every one of you deserves victory. We are confident that the most professional participants from all over the world will take part in this contest and will be happy to provide all the necessary support and provide necessary consultation. Let us wait for a few minutes. Should there be any questions in the chat, we would read and respond to them. Otherwise, you'll be able to get your answers to your questions through either competition email or a hotline. Once again, any questions for answers or comments? No? The chat is silent, which means that we have provided all the information in a proper manner. I would once again request my colleagues to send the presentation in both Russian and English into the chat. And yes, I see one more question. The question is that what if the amount of work that we have the scope of work submitted for the final may not be adequate to implement and would require further development detail? Should we assume that the final price includes the fee for the development of the project? The price fine only covers what you have filed for the contest. Your contest proposals is covering only what you have filed as part of the contest. If you continue working, this is done outside of the prize fund and this contest. In this sense, it's clear that the city and the region is looking not only for a contest proposal, it's looking for a team that is ready to continue taking part in this process in order to provide the city with their knowledge, with their attention, etc. In that sense, the contest would not be closing this work, and all the financial details we have shown to you is only for the work within the contest and not outside thereof. We see one more question, whether you can increase the size of the consortium post-finals. Yes, indeed. Once you have you've been selected for the second stage of the contest, you can get additional members into the consortium, but one condition is fixed, is that your consortium leader cannot change. You can have your additional companies, additional participants in your consortium, and you would have to inform the organizer about that. We would mark the fact that you have brought in new players into your consortium. Anything you feel is appropriate that would help you to prepare a better contest proposal is welcomed. We are following all the standards of international contest procedures, but it's first of all, it is following the logic, and first and foremost, the interest of the best possible development of the city district of Grozny. Anything you can offer for the development of this unique city, we would be very happy to hear that as part of your proposal, as well as for the overall procedure, we would be ready to fine-tune it should you share with us. How should we demonstrate the consultants when filing an application? You are demonstrating category as either individual participants or consortium. If you're choosing consortium, the questionnaire is giving you the fields of the questionnaire as for all participants, including consultants. In that sense, the questionnaire is quite understandable, but should you feel any kind of questions about it, feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to assist you in this application process as well. Dear colleagues, do we have other questions? If so, please post them in the Zoomcast. Yes, also, please remember that when you are presenting the team, you can also be demonstrating all details about all your experts in any configuration. I see one more question about consultants, about private individuals, not proprietaries. Well, physical individuals can be part of consortium as a legal structure, but they can be part of your team. In the image presentation, which allows you to introduce your team, and can be uploaded, you can demonstrate not only your legal entities, but you can also demonstrate your experts, key experts with names, surnames, their biography, and that presentation would help the expert council as well as the jury members to assess how you have shaped your team if these are not legal entities, whilst the consortium itself consists of the legal entities only, whilst inside either these entities or inside the team, you can demonstrate what experts are also helping you. Should there be any other questions, please share them in the Zoomcast chat.
Вы можете продемонстрировать нам тех экспертов, которых вы привлекли. Если еще вопросы, коллеги, пожалуйста, вы можете опубликовать их в чате трансляции.
I see there are no more questions, which means that we have satisfied all of your expectations at this webinar. But once again, remember that you have a chance to ask questions or get consultation through all the channels. Please use the official website of the contest, which is available in both Russian and English, to get necessary information. Use the hotline telephone number and email address. We are ready to interact through all channels. Main task of ours is to assure that that you get all the necessary conditions for your professional, the best participation, and the best results in the interest of the city of Grozny. Please be filing your applications. Let me remind that 19th of May is the deadline until 1200 hours p.m. Moscow time. You should upload them electronically through the website and press send. We are quite confident you can succeed. You will succeed, and in the process of filing the application, feel free to reach out for the support by our specialists. In this sense, I would like to thank all the experts on the part of the Republic of Chechnya, the city of Grozny, the Dom RF joint stock company, and we are grateful for all those who were taking part in the webinar for the participants of the Open International Contest for the development of master plan of the city of Grozny, Chechen Republic.